my pleasure to welcome you to this signing ceremony to advance the cooperation on bilateral aviation between Antigua and Barbuda and the U.S. Today, we will be initialing the Open Skies Air Transport Agreement between Antigua and Barbuda and the United States of America and the signing of the Memorandum of Consultation.
It's a pleasure to be here for this initialing ceremony with the Air Transport Open Skies Agreement between the U.S. and Antigua and Barbuda. And it's especially meaningful to me because in our first consultation when I became ambassador and among all of the other prime ministers in the region, aviation and the interconnectivity issue came up. It's an important one, and this is hopefully the beginning of many positive developments in the region. One of my first acts as ambassador was to create an aviation working group within my embassy, and Tabitha's colleagues, a number of whom are involved, and since then I've recruited 3 other U.S. embassies to engage: Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. And so we have 4 U.S. embassies working on this issue. So this is extremely exciting because of the benefits that this brings to the people of Antigua and Barbuda, but also to the United States.
Ambassador Nyhus would have actually lifted the bilateral relationship between Antigua and Barbuda and the United States. In fact, there have been 3 ambassadors, U.S. ambassadors to Antigua and Barbuda in the last 10 years, and I can say very clearly that the year that you have served, that none would have served with the intensity that you have served. So we really appreciate your dedication and the commitment to strengthening the bilateral relationship. It's unfortunate that you're a political appointee, and based on the change of government in the United States, that clearly you had to demit office. And certainly you've been able to advance this agreement, this air services agreement, which is also essential for the growth and development of the transportation hub that we're creating here in Antigua and Barbuda. I believe within the OACS that we have the largest asset base in terms of aviation assets. We have Calvin here with several helicopters. There's another helicopter service. We also have Liat with several aircraft. In fact, they will be acquiring later this year a 125-seater aircraft, which we are hoping at the time that we would have, or by that time, we would have achieved Category 1 status with the United States, so that Liat could even fly into U.S. ports, including the mainland. And that is our ambition for Liat to actually have flights possibly into Miami or Fort Lauderdale. So this air services agreement is very important to put the legal infrastructure in place as we seek to make Antigua and Barbuda an aviation hub. And as I said before, we have a significant amount of assets, and we will be building out infrastructure to include an MRO, as well as ensuring that we start an aircraft registry. The Director of Civil Aviation has said to me that that's a very ambitious plan, but we do not limit our ambitions. And they always say that where is the will, there's a way. So I expect in the near future, Antigua and Barbuda will have a thriving aircraft registry. And having this type of infrastructure in place is very important because the United States is the most significant source market for us, not only in terms of tourists, but even the goods that we consume. So having that type of freedom to move people between Antigua, Barbuda, and the United States is very important. I recognize too that this agreement will give us Fifth Freedom rights. That too is extremely important as we seek to do some possible hubbing and going into the United States using LEA 2020. So again, I just want to commend you and certainly the government of the United States for taking this relationship to the next level to have this agreement come to fruition, and hopefully within the next few weeks, maybe a few months for that matter, that it will come into full force as we ratify the agreement. And I also want to add here that we're very thankful for the support that the United States has given us over the years to build capacity in many areas. Most recent was the CITS conference, in which we contributed significant resources to make the CITS conference a resounding success. You've helped us to build capacity as well in the areas of security. You've assisted ONDCP And even in the area of cryptocurrencies, you provided training for our people. So those are contributions that we appreciate. And we consider the United States to be a very significant partner in development for Antigua and Barbuda. And I would say here that even though we may have some friends that are not necessarily friends of the United States, that does not impact on the fact that we have full respect for this relationship and that we'll continue to grow and to preserve it. I've said time and time again that we are just too small to have enemies. We have to be friends of all and must utilize our diplomatic connections to leverage resources in the interest of the state. And you recognize that the national interest takes priority to all other interests, so that our relationships with other countries who may have acrimonious relationship with the United States, or the United States may have acrimonious relationships with them, should not be construed as going against our strong bilateral relationship. Our relationship is inextricably linked. We have the largest diaspora in the United States, and we know precisely where our interest lies. We know that it's a mutually beneficial relationship, that as the United States continue to grow and develop, it will redound to the benefit of Antiguans and Barbudans, not only those of us here in Antigua and in Barbuda, but those in the diaspora. So again, I'm very happy with the way in which the relationship is going. I'm a little disappointed that we weren't able to finalize the establishment of the embassy here, and I know you fought for that as well, to the extent, and I've been told that Antigua was one of the 2 countries that was selected. You don't have to confirm.
Stay positive.
So what I shall do, I'll be getting my ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Ron Saunders, to write to President Trump to let him know that we expect him to continue in that vein and to establish an embassy here. I think it's important to service the Northeastern Caribbean. And again, we will give you credit for the work that you have done to advance those discussions. So once again, thank you. And I wish you every success, good health, and continued advancement in your new endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you.